Wait, am I live? I better not be live. Let's have a look. Double check. Just quickly. Shouldn't be live. Oh shit, I am live. Oh, well shit. XSplit works. Thanks for visiting Getarix. Well, hi guys. So, today's video, well, live stream, well, second live stream in the day, is about, oh god, I should have used OBS for this. Fuck me. Is about the Labour, Manifesto. Now, I don't know if anyone can even see it right now. It's all a bit of a shambles, so let me just figure this out. Right. Alright. Should do it. I'm really confused, people. Excuse me. Right. How do I... It doesn't have a window thing, it just has desktop. Excuse me a sec while I just sort this out, people, for a second. I wasn't expecting this. This isn't OBS, this is XSplit, actually, so... HTML, I should... No, that's System32, we don't want that. So this is a test stream until I figure this out. If you would like to help, please do. Here we are. Okay, right. Just get the live chat as well, wherever that is. I could just get the pop out chat. Right, here we are. Right, this should work. It won't even let me bloody copy and paste. Oh, what the hell? Hang on. Nope. Oh, let me drag. I've got to do this manually now. Yeah, I know they're anti-Brexit. HTTPS. Sorry guys, this is a shambles. YouTube.com. Don't worry, it won't be a shambles next time. Let's have a look. / pop up. Live now. Live chat. Sorry guys, this is a shambles. Pop out. Live chat. Pop. Oh, I hate this. This is bloody stupid. Pop out equals. This is this is annoying. Because it won't let me copy and paste into the thing. It's ridiculous. I actually have to type it in manually. This is ridiculous. Way to go, XSplit. People said it would be better. It's bloody not. When was the last time Labour in power? 2010. You should look it up for yourself. If you want to know all these things about British politics, you should look it all up. 2010, I was in school. Alright, 1 and V equals... Oh God, this is retarded. 1V equals... Hang on. Let's hope this works. And then we can get to the nitty gritty, guys. Oh my god. Apologies for this. It's not technical things, it's just trying to get used to the layout, really. Okay, QAC. That's it. Alright, that should... Yes! Got it to work. There we are. I can see you guys now. And now for the next one, which should be pretty straightforward. And that is the Spectator article that I need. I just don't understand why I can't copy and paste. It should let me, really. Blogs.spectator. I'll put the link in the description in a minute, people. Hi, Carlos. K/. God, this is retarded. 2017 /0 5 leaked. I think there was a dash there. Hyphen draft of Labour 2017 Manifesto full, hang on a sec, full text, and then it's another /, then hashtag. Aha, there we are. Right. Now we just put the YouTube chat over that and just leave that there. Right, that should do it. Okay. Now for some reason it's showing up as the old screen for some reason. There we are. Oh shit. Oh, this is cool. I can actually like do this with XSplit and not have to go on the internet. This is actually pretty cool. Okay. Now I'm just going to check if that's coming through on the dashboard. Yeah, it is. Okay. Now, for you 8 people, this is my live reaction to Labour. Now, this is actually easier than OBS. I'm getting the hang of it now. I mean, having to type it in manually is a bit of a drag, but Jesus, look at this. This is really good interactivity. Now, this is the leaked draft on the spectator.co.uk. I'll just send you guys the link. It will be in the description. So if you want to live stream, please do so. I'll just change the title as well. Action to Labour leaked manifesto. There we are. Right. Hopefully that changed it to some degree. Also, we'll put Jezza in the thumbnail because why not? Okay, that should work. Right. Okay. Right. Let's do this. Alright, so on the Spectator they've got the full text and the manifesto is for the many, not the few, which is kind of Spock, isn't it? Kind of like Spock. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, as they say. And they want to create an economy that works for all. Interesting. I'll teach you in a minute, Carlos. Don't worry about that. God, this is so good. This is really good. I like this. So I'm going to read it off and then I'll respond when I need to. Our economic strategy is about delivering a fairer, more prosperous society for the many, not just a few, which I like. I agree with that. Who doesn't? We will measure our economic success not by the presence of millionaires, but by the ability of people to make ends meet. Well, surely we should be aiming a bit higher than that. Maybe not just ends meet, but beyond that, maybe getting rid of poverty. But then again, that's idealism. I guess the first step towards that is making ends meet. It's a little bit too much to each according to each other's needs, but you know. I thought he returned, but anyway, who cares? Labour understands that wealth creation is a collective endeavour between investors, workers, public services and government. It is. Each contributes and each must share equitably in the rewards. Well, I don't know. If you've worked hard to essentially become more of a, shall we say, higher paid person, you've worked your way up the job ladder and now you're the boss, I would say maybe due to meritocracy, you probably should earn more, I don't know. But equitably, not equality. So I guess that means workers should be paid fairly, bosses should not be handed bonuses they don't deserve. I hope that's what he means, because I can get behind that, but I don't think everybody should deserve something equal for whatever they do. The needs of the chat outweigh the needs of the streamer. This manifesto is about rebalancing the economy and rewriting the rules of a rigged system so the economy really works for all. Again, yeah, nothing too bad about that. The economy and the class system is rigged, but I don't see Labour doing anything to solve that because it's in their best interests for it to remain as such, so they can get their gullible masses to vote for them and the Tories can get their gullible masses to vote for them, but whatever. Working people in Britain today are earning less in real terms than they did 10 years ago. Hell, they're even earning less than they did 50 years ago, and that's saying something. As Louis Laveau has said years ago, 50, 60, 70 years ago, one person could provide for an entire family and they could be mixed. They could be middle class, essentially, at least by our standards. Can't do that anymore. I agree with that. And 6 million people earn less than a real living wage. Too many people are insecure and low-paid work and cannot make ends meet. That is true. 0-hour contracts. People are being told to work less hours for less pay, and we even for some reason now. I guess if you're under 16, I can see the point, but 18-year-olds earn less than 25-year-olds, and I've never got that. But with that, it's up to the employer to go by that. They don't have to. And apparently, Labour will turn this around. With a 10-year national investment plan to upgrade Britain's economy, we will build world-leading digital transport and energy infrastructure across the country, creating thousands of skilled and well-paid jobs through our National Investment Bank and regional development banks. We will create the conditions required to flourish and grow by every region and nation of Britain. Interesting. Are they going to explain this National Investment Bank? Digital, I assume they mean internet services if they don't continue bloody censoring it and diluting it. Transport and energy, well, with transport, they're already going to go ahead with HS2, which is the planned railway line that will link London, Manchester, Birmingham, I think maybe Glasgow, something like that. Loads of major cities are going to be linked with one huge line. Let's continue. With energy, I assume he's going to go for more renewable stuff, and he's also anti-nuclear. He wants us to be nuclear free, which I have reservations about, but I assume we'll get to that. As every business person knows, to succeed and grow it is necessary to invest. But after years of conservative failure to modernise the economy, Britain's infrastructure is second rate, and we are not doing enough to nurture business growth. Well, we've been lagging behind for many years now, to be fair. It's not just the Tories that are at fault there. The Blair failed to do anything. Thatcher failed to do much as well. We've lagged behind most countries for a long time now. No, they've not admitted to be communist mass. You'll be quite surprised with some of the things that they're on about in this. The growth created by our national investment plan, underpinned by the responsible economic management embodied in our fiscal credibility rule. Right, well, neither of the two parties are economically responsible, but whatever. Will create good jobs, driving up standards and improve the public finances. Well, that's what they say, but again, they're being very vague. I don't know what this fiscal credibility rule is and their investment bank. They're being very vague. I think the public should be explained. Oh yeah, with Stalin's voice, definitely. He actually had quite a very high voice and was actually a very good speaker. There's a speech he did during World War II at the very start of the Russian-German part of the war, and it was a very good speech. Straight to the point, no bullshit. You don't see that very often, considering he's a dictator. It is a plan that will deliver Labour's vision. Oh my god, they have bloody typos in their manifesto. But then again, this could have been people typing this up. Of an economy that works for the many, not just for the few. Again, it should really work for everybody, but I think that's the point. A Britain in which no one is being held back by poverty or lack of opportunity, definitely. I do agree with that. Social mobility has really been stifled over the past 20 years, 30 years actually. It's only getting worse. But I don't know if... Oh, they're definitely convinced they're not going to win. I mean, you can sympathise with this stuff. I don't think voters don't disagree with some of the things that they say. It's just, as Sargon has said, it's the people in it. People can see past this and see what they also think under the surface, and that is they don't like the people that they claim to, represent. And I don't think Corbyn's the worst of that. I don't think he actually dislikes the working class. I think it's people like Jess Phillips mainly, but Corbyn's has kind of kowtowed to them a lot, which is ridiculous. He should be purging anybody who goes against the party's morals. Like Jess, what is she doing in the Labour Party? You could argue she's a Tory in many ways. Yeah, Cameron, well, never going to happen, is it? Anyway, I need to continue, people. A fair taxation system. Taxation is what underpins our prosperity. All of us, including business, benefit from a healthy, educated and skilled population with access to basic services and secure housing. Yeah, we can have a lot of unskilled service type jobs. That needs to kind of change. We believe in the obligation to contribute to a fair taxation scheme, and will come down hard on those who seek to avoid their responsibilities. Yet we've had a lot of corporations and rich people not paying their taxes, and neither the Labour government or the Conservative government have failed to do anything about that. They can't do it. It shouldn't be that hard. Anyway, a Labour government will guarantee to rule out rises in income tax for those earning below $80,000 a year on personal national insurance contributions and on VAT. Interesting. 80,000. If you can't live on 45,000 a year, Jesus, it's more than I earn. Under Labour's plans, 95% of taxpayers will be guaranteed no increase in their income tax contributions, and everyone will be protected from any increase in personal national insurance contributions and VAT. Well, that's good, but I just have a feeling the rich are going to try and find a way to get out of this. This usually happens with Labour governments. Only the highest 5% of earners will be asked to contribute more in tax to help fund our public services that have suffered at the hands of the 7 years of Tory austerity, which I don't mind. I think if you earn more, you probably should pay more taxes. It makes sense, doesn't it? You contribute depending on what you earn, right? I don't think they should contribute so much that they can't live off it, but even then, most of them live off it anyway. Yeah, Amazon. Talking to you, nigga. To date, too many cuts have fallen on those with the least. We have seen child poverty rise to 4 million, homelessness rise, queues that grow. Yep, all this is true. That's true. To date, too many cuts have fallen. That's very true. Like the middle class and the working classes have been saddled with the burden to fix this mess that the bankers caused. Corporation tax in the UK is the lowest of any major developed economy, and so we will ask large corporations to pay a little more while keeping UK corporation tax among the lowest of the major economies. Well, I think now that could mean several things. Could that mean pay a bit more in terms of tax? Like they're charging them more? Or are we trying to get them to actually pay the tax that they're trying to not pay us? I think just them paying their tax alone would help a great deal, to be honest. And at least they're trying to keep it low, which is not something I expected. So he's clearly been doing his research, old Jezza. I mean, keeping it low is a shame, isn't it? But what are we going to do? We will also protect small businesses by reintroducing the lower small profit rate of corporation tax. Interesting. We'll also exclude small businesses from costly plans, introduce quarterly reporting, and take action on late payments. Yeah, I kind of like the small business thing. Small businesses need to be protected. We can't have big corporations and businesses ruling the roost, so to speak, in one way. Yeah, the robber barons will need to Portugal, the Canary Islands. They will. They are robber barons. It's crazy. Only we won't be fighting them in a war. It's a shame that. HM Revenue and Customs, Her Majesty's or His Majesty's Revenue and Customs also needs the resources and skills to collect the taxes owed. Labour will give HMRC the resources necessary to clamp down on those unscrupulous individuals and companies who seek to avoid responsibilities. Fair enough. They all claim to do this, but really, all the political parties need these people to exist. Otherwise, they won't get in and have somebody to use as a scapegoat for their to rile up the masses and get them to vote for them. It's true. It's in the Tories especially, but also Labour, best interest to at least have a problem with tax avoidance of poor individuals or basically benefit fraud. Fiscal credibility rule. Here we go. This is when they're going to explain it. We know the importance of managing public finances, so our manifesto is fully costed with all current spending paid for out of taxation or redirected revenue streams. This means Labour will eliminate the current budget deficit within 5 years. Well, I don't have any of the figures on me right now, but I'm very sceptical of that. If it's been what? 10 years since the recession started, nearly 10 years since the recession started, and they still haven't done anything. I don't see how with this plan they're going to end it in 5 years. I don't believe that. Who knows? Maybe it will take 5 years, but I'm just sceptical of that. But government must care about how we earn as well as how we spend. At the same time as eliminating the current deficit, Labour will invest in our future to ensure faster growth. Yeah, you mentioned that. To maintain good fiscal health, we will task the Office of Budget Responsibility with overseeing our fiscal credibility rule, which gives us freedom to invest to strengthen our economy and boost growth. Our fiscal credibility rule is based on the simple principle that government should not be borrowing for day-to-day spending, but that investing for future growth makes good sense. It was designed in conjunction with and supported by world-leading economists, which is true. They do actually have. It is a 5-year plan. I know, that's what I was thinking. But, you know, the Tories had 5-year plans as well. I mean, Cameron set out some kind of 5-year plan in 2010. And then in the 2015 election, they had another one for 2020. The 5-year plan is essentially how long they'll be in office. It's usually about 5 years. So it's not quite communism, all right, people. Every government has a 5-year plan, to be fair. But it usually takes two terms to actually fully implement all this. So it won't take 5 years. It'll take about 8 to 10. Fiscal credibility rule is based on the simple principle, blah, 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 blah. That's where we were. And they do actually have world-leading economists with them. They do have quite the expensive advisory board with them. I remember hearing that in a speech by Owen Jones. I actually went there. That was a shit speech. Compliance with the rule will be overseen by a truly independent Office of Budget Responsibility, which will make accountable to Parliament. Fair enough. Fiscal credibility rule will commit us on taking office to set out a plan to eliminate the current spending deficit on a forward-thinking 5-year rolling timescale, which they're not going to do in 5 years. It hasn't. The Tories haven't done it in 6 years. 7 years, sorry. So, I don't know. Leave debt as a proportion of trend. Fair enough. When conventional monetary policy is hampered by the lower bound to interest rates, suspend operation of the rule in order that fiscal policy can work with monetary policy to support economic recovery. Maybe. I still don't see how they're going to do all this in 5 years. Make the Office of the Budget responsible to Parliament, the clear mandate to blow the whistle on the government breaching these rules, which is fair enough. The government does need to be watched over this. Anyway, infrastructure, here we are. Historic underinvestment in infrastructure is a major barrier to productivity and growth. Yes, we do. We didn't even modernise coal and steel and all that until the 60s, and even then it was too late. And the major contributor to the disparity between the south, east, and the rest of the country, which is it is true to some extent. Yes, it is. Unlike previous governments, we will ensure that investment is fairly shared around every region and nation of the UK. So even the Blairite governments, because they didn't do much either. Well, the Labour Party is the Socialist Party, Mike. I don't know what you're on about. They're not going to get cooked by socialists. They are socialists. That's what they're supposed to be. That's what they are. What the Socialist Party in France is. That's what they were born as, and that's what they're going to be. Well, they were. Blair changed them to a bloody corporatist, almost, well, they were a right wing to an extent party, and that kind of ruined it. But this is what they are. They are the left wing party, and always will be, at least to some extent. So I don't know why people say they're getting cooked when they are. Well, at least they should be. And if they're going to be socialists, they should at least be honest, British-style socialists like they were back in the day. Because Labour's always, at least in the 70s, 50s, at least after World War II, they were anti-communist. They were never really into that. Like, you had people like Orwell voting for them, I do believe, and being at least important figures with them. But anyway, let's continue. I got sidetracked. Unlike previous governments, blah, blah, blah. Labour will take advantage of a near record low interest rate to invest $250 billion over 10 years in upgrading our economy to ensure that our transport, energy and digital infrastructure is fit for the 21st century. Well, why did they think... Well, they weren't in the centre at all. They were centre-right. They weren't truly centrist. And I think that was at the detriment, to be honest, because look what happened in 2010. But, Anyway, to talk about this 250 billion, see, why can't they be more long-term with the deficit than they are with this? I don't know. 10 years seems like the bare minimum, but that's better than nothing. We'll maintain the National Infrastructure Commission to advise government on that infrastructure programme to upgrade the British economy. I doubt they'll do this. I mean, they won't get in anyway. But none of that's really bad. It's more like, can they actually do it? Can they implement it? I don't know. Industrial strategy. What industry? Excuse me. Our economy is suffering from decades of neglect by governments refusing to give strategic oversight to support the industries, businesses, workers, people contributing to it. We see this in the way that inequality has ballooned as the economy shifted towards low-paid, insecure jobs, in the decline in Britain's manufacturing base and our over-reliance on the financial sector, centred around London and the South East, and the vast regional and sectoral imbalances that have followed. While the South East struggles with the rising of living crisis, many northern and coastal towns have seen their economies and communities left behind, which is very true. Very true. Britain's failure to get all our regional and local economies working can be seen in the deterioration of the current account, weak productivity growth and underinvestment in infrastructure. Yeah. But that's a thing that's happened over a period of 100 years, pretty much. That's going to take longer than 10 years to truly fix. But at least they are aware of these issues, but whether or not they're actually going to do anything about it, I don't know. This could be pandering to the bases in the north and the coastal regions and the southwest that they traditionally do well in. Yeah, you will need your passport. They check. But I think it's easier for British people anyway. You just walk in. You got citizenship, right? I don't know. Look it up. I've never gone abroad, so I wouldn't know. I know, right? Shock horror. I've never been abroad. Anyway, key to addressing these challenges and creating an economy that is prosperous and stable and inclusive is a bold and properly resourced industrial strategy. The Conservatives have adopted our language, but underneath it offering more of the same, without the funds needed to transform our economy. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe that's true to some extent. They have adopted some things, but again, it's all talk. But even then, this is just all talk. Not yet, Ardith. We're literally right at the start. This is going to be a long stream. Nothing on Brexit yet, people. In fact, in all the key mentions, all the key parts that I've seen summarised, they've not mentioned it at all. But we'll find out. Britain can only be stronger if every nation and region is given the resources and support to succeed. Only Labour government with a credible industrial strategy can deliver prosperity to every corner of our country. Well, okay, let's see how you do this. Our industrial strategy will be built on objective, measurable missions designed to address the great challenges of our times. In meeting these challenges, we will move beyond the narrow approaches of the past and mobilise the talents and resources of our whole country to deliver an economy fit for the future. Labour's infrastructure investment and mission-led industrial strategy will make Britain a better place to do business and give businesses the confidence to invest in Britain. We will also encourage private investment by removing new plant and machinery from business rate calculations. Okay. Some of this is a bit above me, apologise, but you'll have to figure that out for yourself. It seems very ambitious. I guess they want to rebuild industry, which is going to be difficult. We will deliver universal superfast broadband availability by 2022. Few things are more crucial to business and our economy than a fast and reliable internet connection. That's good. I have no issue with that. But 3 million households and businesses have been left incapacitated by slow internet. We will deliver universal superfast 30 Mbps service ability to all households by 2022. Conservative commitment to just 10 will see the 400,000 small businesses, nearly 2 million homes left with substandard broadband well into the next decade. Well, that's all well and good, but how are they going to pay for it? It's going to be expensive. I mean, I know it's going to be a long process into 2022, but how are they going to pay for it? I mean, 10's pretty shit, but 30? That's going to be expensive. But I welcome that. Is this going to be nationwide, like even in the rural areas, they're going to have their shitty internet sorted? I don't know. In December, the National Infrastructure Commission ranked the UK 54th in the world for 4G coverage and said the average user can't get a signal barely half the time. Well, I can get a signal all the time, but I'm in the city, so it's alright. That isn't just frustrating, it is increasingly holding British businesses back. Fair enough, I guess so. If that is true, then that needs to be addressed. No, it's not a state broadband service. They just want to they want to make sure that all homes have 4G 30 Mbps service. There isn't a state service. They just want to make sure that everybody has it. They want to improve the infrastructure. This isn't about building state companies, are they? Nowhere did they say that, but never mind. Labour will improve mobile internet coverage. Oh wait, I missed a bit. And that isn't frustrating. It's increased. Labour will improve mobile internet coverage and expand provision of free public Wi-Fi in city centres and on public transport. We'll improve 4G coverage and invest to ensure all urban areas as well as major roads and railways have uninterrupted 5G coverage. Nothing on the rural parts of the UK, which I think is concerning. That they're talking more about the urban parts, which I can understand it is Labour, but the rural country side, they just have so terrible internet. It's so bad there. I've heard so many stories. They will appoint a digital ambassador to liaise with technology companies to promote Britain as an attractive place of investment and provide support to startups to scale world-class digital businesses, if they even do that. UK lags behind other countries in the extent to which our companies scale up, with research suggesting that many of our countries have stagnant growth despite their best aspirations. OECD research found that while the UK ranks 3rd for startups, it ranks 13th for the number of businesses that scale up successfully. That's almost about as much as we are in the world economy. That's kind of interesting little correlation. By one estimate. See, this grammar's terrible. By one estimate, if expanding small businesses would boost by just 1%, they could generate 238,000 new jobs within 3 years, and an extra 38 billion for the economy. That's good, but there's still going to be at least 3 million more people in out of work. But to answer Mike's question, you'll see. They're not. It's quite a surprising thing, even though it's not what even though it's kind of meek. I don't know. A National Investment Bank. Here we are. This is how they're going to explain this stuff. This might go over my head, but let's just do this. Labour will establish a National Investment Bank financed with an injection of initial public capital, which will be leveraged using additional private sector finance to give £250 billion of lending power over the next decade. So, a state bank. Don't we already have that? The Bank of England and the Bank of Scotland, but whatever. The bank will fill existing gaps in lending by private banks, particularly to small businesses, and by providing patient long-term finance to higher risk R&D intensive investments. It will also be tasked with helping to deliver our industrial strategy. So this investment bank is going to fund everything. But I thought they didn't want to borrow much. But then again, it's a state bank by the sound of it. It's like funded by the people. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look. The first mission is to ensure that 60% of the UK's energy comes from low or renewable sources by 2030, which is fair enough, but I'm pretty sure the Conservatives wanted to get that done by 2022, like a lot earlier than that. That might be something else. 2030 seems quite late. But then again, that's the majority. And bear in mind, he doesn't want nuclear power, even though using nuclear power would probably speed up that process by quite a lot, but never mind. That's how he wants to go about it. Create an innovation nation with I think it means innovative nation, with 60% of jobs, high skilled, and 3% of GDP. That's not going to happen. I don't know if that's... See, there's a question mark there, so I don't know if they know that's true or not. What was this? What was sold off? I missed that, Ardith. But anyway, this 60% of jobs, high skilled. See, this is kind of confusing grammar. I don't know what they mean, but that's... If they're saying that 60% of jobs in the future will be high skilled, I don't believe that. Maybe high skilled in the sense of technology, I don't know. Oh, RBS, yeah, you're right, yeah. Now I know what you mean. Yeah, they were, but you know what I mean. I thought that Scotland would have their own bank or something. I guess that's Royal Bank of Scotland. Skills by creating a national education service. So is that like a budget fund for education? Infrastructure. Investing 250 billion over the next 10 years, we know that. Grow UK supply chains. By targeting government support where there are gaps. Fair enough. Negotiating a new deal with Europe that puts jobs and the economy first. So no mention of Brexit there, but it seems like he's accepted it. They've accepted it by some degree. Negotiating new deals. I don't know if that's... I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's continue. Procurement by requiring the best standards on government contracts. Research and development by committing extra research investment. Energy cost of security by capping costs and investing in newly publicly owned energy. Yeah, he wants energy to be more nationalised, which might work. I don't know. Maybe. We'll find out. Over 1,000 high street banks have closed. Oh, wait, yeah. While industrial strategy is a strategy for growth across all sectors, Labour recognises that certain sectors are of strategic significance and underpin a wider industry. So they want to create a council modelled on the highly successful Automotive Council. Fair enough. If it works, it works. Over 1,000 high street banks have closed in the last 18 months. Jesus. Yet the big four banks made over 1.1, is that 11 billion profit from high street banking. Branch closures threaten our high streets, depriving communities of essential service. Yep, we need them, but I don't know what they're going to do to solve that. Banks are also letting down businesses. So in addition to National Investment Bank, Labour will create regional development banks. So they're centralising more and more power then. Okay. This is part of this big nationalisation plan. I don't know if it's going to work, because actually, they're going to need to subsidise it. Things might end up getting abused and left to rot, but hey, we'll see. That's the bad side of it. A new deal for... Oh, God, there's so much stuff on business. God, this is so long. The majority of businesses play by the rules. They pay their workers and their taxes fairly and on time. They operate with respect for the environment and local communities. That's the majority of them. Well, that is why it's vital that government ensures that businesses doing the right thing are rewarded rather than undercut or outbid by those unscrupulous few that cut corners, whether on taxes or working conditions. Fair enough. Scandals such as BHS show how the long-term growth of a company can be sacrificed for the sake of a quick buck. Shareholding has become a short-term activity. The average length of shareholding in FTSE companies was 7 months in 2000s, but it was 5 years in the mid-1960s. When shareholders are looking for quick short-term return, they encourage companies to cut corners. This also damages Britain's investment and productivity rates, which are behind other comparable economies. I want to get to the nitty-gritty shit. Like, the economy stuff doesn't interest me that much to some degree. They want to tackle pay meters. Yeah, we'll see if they get to that, Ardith. Present reforming corporate governments makes good business sense by tackling short-termism in our Business culture, a shake-up of corporate governments will improve investment and productivity, and ensure that businesses are run for the long-term benefit of the many rather than the short-term interests of a few. Fair enough. But again, it's all about implementing it and trying to get them, all these companies like, well, BHS is gone now, but people like Philip Green to kind of get with the program, which I don't think they will. Because they want to make a quick buck. Obviously, they want to keep as many of the profits themselves as possible. At present, directors owe the duty to promote the company for the benefit of the shareholders and must only regard to employees, suppliers, environment. Labour proposes to amend the Companies Act 2006 so that directors owe a duty directly to these groups and will consult on who the duty will be owed to. We want long-term growth and stability, not short-term profits. Fair enough, but you do need to make money. Labour will also legislate to reduce pay inequality. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I wonder what he means by that, Jezza. What do you mean by that, old Jezza? I don't mean he, but it's just Jazz. Jezza. Labour will also legislate to reduce pay inequality, which is an excessive pay levy on companies with high numbers of staff on very high pay. Okay, that's not really about the gap then, is it? The next Labour government will use leverage of £200 billion national and local government spends in the private sector to upgrade our economy, create good local jobs. This will and reduce inequality. Right? Okay. What do they mean by that? This will include requiring best practice from firms government does business whatever. Paying tax, workers' rights, equal opportunities, environmental protection, training and apprenticeships, paying suppliers on time, and boardroom excess by moving to a 20-to-1 limit on the gap between the lowest and highest paid for government contracts. Well, the Tories love taxing people anyway. They've always done that. So, I think the poll tax was there. I wonder. It's all ideological. And besides, all the issues with the recession can be traced back 30 years ago anyway. Small and medium-sized enterprises are hugely important, providing 60% of private sector jobs. They're keen delivering a meaningful industrial strategy. Yep. Labour understands that many startups and SMEs face significant challenges, such as access to finance and business advice, late payments, relatively high administrative burdens. Yep, we get that, thank you. In order to provide the support many small businesses need, a Labour government will. God, Jesus, can we get to the social policy? Oh my God, I want to see the nitty gritty shit. Mandate the new National Investment Bank and regional development banks in every region. Yeah, okay. SMEs, prioritise lending. Reinstate the small business corporation tax rate. Okay. I feel like we're treading over old ground, people. Scrap quarterly reporting. Yeah, they mentioned that. Declare war on late payments. Using government procurement. Developing a version of the Australian system of binding arbitration. Okay. Labour understands that many small businesses may struggle with the higher real living wage that we will bring in. By ring-fencing the extra proceeds from tax revenues and lower eligibility for the in-work benefits, to establish new employment allowance for businesses. Yeah, that is the issue, and I don't know if that's going to work out. I don't know if that will be implementable. I know. Who knows what's going to happen in 2032? Sustainable energy. Labour's area is something that they were mentioning a lot in the news. Labour's energy policy is on 3 simple principles: security of energy supply, and keep the lights on. Well, if they want to take us back to the 70s, blackouts it is then. To ensure energy costs are affordable for consumers and businesses. Late payments, companies not paying their taxes on time, Ardith. That's what they mean. What else? To ensure energy costs are affordable, to ensure we meet our climate change targets and transition to a low carbon economy. Fair enough. The energy system is outdated, expensive and polluting. Privatisations fail to deliver an energy system that delivers for people, business or our environment, which is true, as you mentioned in the chat. How many people are watching? Oh wow, there's a lot of people watching. And I'm getting bored reading this. People seem to be interested in what I have to say about this, so it's obviously working. Alright. Labour understands that many people don't have time to shop around, just want reliable and affordable energy, so the next Labour government, and 1 in 10 households are in fuel poverty, which is true. Some of them can't even turn the bloody gas on. Customers are overcharged 2 billion. Jesus. Introducing the immediate energy price cap to show that the average dual fuel household energy bill remains below 1,000 per year, while we transition to a fairer system for bill payers. That's extortionate. Take energy back into public ownership to deliver renewable energy, affordability for customers, and democratic control. The new public system will include 3 key elements: central government control of the natural monopolies of the transmission and distribution of grids, and responsibility for the policy information functions of the regulator. So again, centralising, nationalising stuff. I don't think the government at the moment has as much power than that. It is boring, Scott, because we're not getting to the social policy yet, which can really riff on. Look, just London. London's London. Everyone knows about London. London's boring. At least one publicly owned energy company in every region of the UK that is a locally run, democratically accountable energy supplier working to tackle fuel poverty, return profits to customers via reduced tariffs, support community energy projects, and have drive larger... Oh my god, hurry up. Get to the point. Yeah, okay. Local Energy Task Force will provide help and advice. So basically, like Citizens Advice Bureau, right? They also want to make it more regional as well, it seems. So a locally run, democratically accountable energy supply. So is that to the people? The people can hold it to task? Interesting. Labour will insulate 4 million homes as an infrastructure priority to help those suffering cold homes each winter. I ain't voting Tory. You know what the alternative is? No one. Vote nobody, or start your own party, or go as an independent. More people need to do that, I think, but whatever. I guess it costs money and effort. Labour will insulate 4 million homes as an infrastructure priority. How can I be against Conservatives? Many different... Oh, if only I had the time, Sam. If only I had the time. And I don't know if you're British or not. You could be American. Labour will insulate 4 million homes. This will cut emissions, drive growth, improve health. How's it going to cut emissions if you want to insulate these homes? Are you going to use the affordable, amazing, low carbon shit, right? Homeowners will be offered 0% loans to improve their property, and will introduce revenue neutral stamp. So I guess the taxpayers paying for that. They want to pay most of this with bloody taxes, don't they? Vote nobody and change nothing. Mosseraven Looney Party would be good. For renters, Labour will improve upon landlord energy efficiency regulations and re-establish landlord energy saving allowance. Got so many typos to encourage the uptake of efficiency measures. Can we get to the social thing? Oh my god, we're not even finished yet. How long have I got? I'm just going to check. Oh my god, this is massive. I might not get through all this by the time... But we'll see. We might have to do another one at some point on Sunday. Now let's just see how far I can get. Where was I at? Labour government will legislate to enforce the highest modern standards for zero carbon buildings. They will ban tracking. Tracking would lock us into an energy infrastructure based on fossil fuels, long after the point in 2030 when the Commission on Climate Change says gas in the UK must sharply decline. Emerging technologies such as carbon capture. Nothing on nuclear yet. Nothing on nuclear, but it's coming. Here it is, it's coming right now actually. Will help to smooth the transition to cleaner fuels and will help to protect existing jobs. Well, we'll see. Again, it's very expensive. Who's going to pay for this? The UK is the world's oldest nuclear industry, and nuclear will continue. I thought they wanted to make it nuclear free. That's what I heard. But we'll get to that. The UK's the world's oldest nuclear industry will support further nuclear projects and protect nuclear workers' jobs and pensions. The considerable opportunities for nuclear power. That's not what I've heard. So unless there was fake news going around, I don't know. They were supposed to be making it more nuclear free. No, they're not going to build gulags, Mike. We're not even got to the social bit yet. We're still on the boring bit. Oh, Brexit's coming up. Here we go. Are you ready, guys? It's coming. I could skip it, but I want to see what else they've got. Tackling climate change is non-negotiable, yet recent years have seen a failure to progress towards our targets. Building a clean economy for the future. They're going to have a climate change act, put them back on track. However they're going to do that, paying with the taxpayers' money, of course. All this is going to be funded by the taxpayer, isn't it? I mean, I understand we don't want to borrow shit, but it seems like too much of a burden. Close prisons. We can't close prisons. We should at least make them like easy. We should try and make sure nobody goes to prison. But I don't know. The lower carbon economy is one of the UK's fastest growing sectors, creating jobs. At least I see that they're going to try and invest in this so they can get to that 60% skilled workforce, right? With backing from the Labour government, they can get dominant shares of global export markets. I guess that's one place we could re-energise industry by building low carbon stuff, but I don't know. The Chinese and other countries will simply outcompete us because they can just build more stuff and more cheaply. Currently, the UK buys and sells energy tariff-free from Europe, an arrangement which saves families and businesses money, helps balance the power grid as part of the Brexit negotiations. Labour will prioritise maintaining access to the internal energy market and will retain access to Euratom. So they'll continue trade of fissile material access into collaboration or research vital to our nuclear industry. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they'll give us that. I don't know about closing prisons. That would be ridiculous. Now, do they want to close certain prisons or all prisons? What are they going to replace these prisons with? Actually, I'm pretty sure in our country they're mostly white. They will be mostly white. They won't be non-whites. Especially how neglected the white working class and the underclass actually is. It'll be mostly white. Negotiating Brexit. Are you ready, guys? Here we go. Labour accepts referendum result. What? Okay, well, I guess they finally come to terms, or at least are trying to make it look like they've come to terms with it. I don't think they have. The rhetoric coming out of the party doesn't look like they are, but whatever, they accept the result. Fair enough. I'm going to take you at face value for now with a huge grain of salt. Labour government will put the national interest first. Fair enough, okay. We will prioritise jobs and living standards, but a close new relationship with the EU, protect workers' rights and environmental standards, provide certainty to EU nationals, and give meaningful role to Parliament throughout negotiations. Well, what about the British people? How do we? What about their assurances? I don't know. We've got to make sure that we actually can keep companies and stuff in Britain, keep these people's jobs safe. Because I've already heard stories, it could be fake news, of companies wanting to leave because of Brexit, but I don't know. I don't live in London. We will end Theresa May's reckless approach to Brexit and seek to unite the country around the Brexit deal that works for every community in Britain. Well, the problem is both sides have already scuppered that approach. They divided each other. Labour divided themselves, Conservatives divided themselves. By making this a stupid bloody... by making this a left-right issue, making it a racist, non-racist issue, they've messed that up. There's never going to be a full united country behind this, and Labour's to blame for that, as well as the Conservatives for jumping on it. Because I remember seeing a pro-Brexit advert near where I live talking about Turkey, and it was an immigration thing. They were using that as an argument, but again, I saw plenty of dumb Remain arguments. It's all divisive. That's what they wanted to do. And they're succeeding now. We've got to unite. Good luck with that. We will scrap the Conservatives' Brexit white paper and replace it with fresh negotiating priorities that have a strong emphasis on retaining the benefits of the single market and the customs union, which we're not going to get because we're leaving, which are essential for maintaining industry, jobs and businesses in Britain. Well, why do you have to be... I didn't vote, but why do we have to be... Why do they still want us to at least be beholden to some of the things if we're going out? Like, surely you should be more self-sufficient than that. I'm just wondering. I don't think we should try to retain any of those benefits. We should at least try to retain benefits of trade if we're going to leave. I don't know. That doesn't bode well for me, because I don't think they'll even give it us. I don't think they will. They're going to be incredibly hard in the negotiating table. A Labour government will immediately guarantee existing rights. I think they should do that, to be fair. If you're already living here and you have been living here for ages, they should be fine here. They shouldn't be told to leave. especially if they've been here legally and pay their taxes, and they've been doing so for years and years. It's kind of, it would be a shame if they were all to just up and be told to leave despite being contributing members of society. So I agree with that. A Labour government will immediately guarantee existing rights, secure reciprocal rights for UK citizens. Yeah, we need to negotiate that stuff as well. EU nationals do not just contribute, they are, especially if they've been there for years and can apply for citizenship. To some extent, they are part of our society. Not our society, they're part of it. They should not be used as bargaining chips. Nobody should be used as a bargaining chip. But at the same time, most of them will probably leave because they'll be scared, which I don't blame them, but, It's shameful that Prime Minister rejected repeated attempts by Labour to resolve this issue before Article 50 was triggered. As a result, 3 million EU nationals suffered unnecessary uncertainty, as have the 1.2 million UK citizens. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people are going to leave because of Brexit. I think a lot of people have been miseducated on numerous things on both sides, and they need to sort this out. I was thinking this should be one of the first things they talk about, but a conservative Brexit will weaken workers' rights, deregulate the economy, slash corporate taxes, sideline Parliament and democratic accountability, and cut Britain off from our closest allies and most important trading partners. Now, I don't know about the last bit. It would be diplomatic suicide to cut us off from allies and important trading partners. Now, we need allies. We're going to retain these allies. I don't think May's that stupid. I do agree that she will weaken workers' rights. It's a given with the Conservative Party. And she will deregulate the economy. That's a given. Slash the taxes. Corporate taxes, yep. Maybe democratic accountability, but so does Labour. They all do it. They all want a bit more power. But as for the last bit, I disagree with that. I don't think any party, it could have been any one of them who were pro or anti-Brexit. Nobody would dare do that. That's ridiculous. That's far too isolationist. Let's have a look. Let's see what else. Labour recognises that leaving the EU with no deal is the worst possible deal for Britain, and when it will damage to our economy and trade, we will reject no deal as a viable and negotiate transitional arrangements to avoid a cliff edge. Fair enough. Good luck with that. Good luck with him agreeing with you, because I don't think the EU will give us much, if anything. They'll be very bitter. The issues that affect our continent will continue to do so in the future, and Labour will continue to work constructively with the EU and other European nations on issues such as climate change, refugee crises and counter-terrorism. Well, how are you going to solve the refugee crisis, I wonder, and the counter-terrorism? Doing nothing, like they've been doing. We will build a close cooperative future relationship with the EU, not as members but as partners, like Norway. Fair enough. So they're accepting it, they don't want to go back. But again, this is Corbyn. He's always been a little Eurosceptic to some extent, but no, the last thing we want to do is ally with Russia and China. That's the last thing we want to do. I would fuck you in the ass and feed you to the dogs, Sam. Joking. I love you. Anyway, a Labour government will ensure that the UK that maintains our leading research role by seeking to stay part of Horizon 2020 by welcoming research staff to the UK. Fair enough. I like the sciencey bits here. We will seek to maintain membership of European organisations which offer benefits to the UK, such as Euratom and the European Medicines Agency. We will seek to ensure that Britain remains part of the Erasmus scheme so that British students have the same educational opportunities after we leave the EU, which, again, I don't know if they're going to be able to negotiate this. I don't know. Would this be too much for the EU? I don't know. Would they want to punish us? I'm so cynical about this. We will drop the Conservatives' Great Repeal Bill, replacing it with an EU Rights and Protections Bill that will ensure that there is no detrimental change to workers' rights, equality law, consumer rights or environmental protections as a result of Brexit. So they want us to keep the stuff that circumvents our law. Well, it would be our law now, but I don't know. It seems like they want to keep some of the shit that kind of contradicts a lot of the things, but let's see what happens. Throughout the Brexit process, we will make sure that the EU-derived laws, including workplace laws, consumer rights and environmental protections, are fully protected without qualifications, limitations or sunset clauses. We will work with trade unions, businesses and stakeholders to ensure there is consensus on this vital issue. A Labour approach to Brexit will ensure there can be no rolling back of key rights protections, and the UK does not lag behind Europe in workplace protections and environmental standards in the future, which I do agree. We need to protect people's rights. Undoubtedly, we need to protect workers' rights and people living here's rights. I mean, if you're an EU national and you've lived here since let's say 15 years, you should have the right to stay here because you've been paying taxes, especially if you do pay your taxes and you've contributed and you're eligible for British citizenship. You should have the right to stay here. Now, what about the people who've just arrived though? That's an issue as well. Especially if they can prove that they're it shouldn't be hard. If they can prove that they're contributing and they can contribute well into the future, why not? They can stay. But again, I don't know. It's tough questions I can't answer or even think about. I don't know. The EU has had a huge impact on securing workplace protections, environmental safeguards. Well, some of the environmental safeguards aren't that good. But whatever. But we will know that for many Brexiteers in the Tory party. What about your own party? You have some in your own party as well. Don't forget them. Again, they're making this a left-right issue. It's fucking annoying. This was why they wanted to leave, to tear up regulations and weaken hard-fought rights and protections. Well, the thing is, a lot of the law that we have in regards to workplace protections, well, environmental safeguards anyway, were in the 70s and 80s, and in the 70s there was a mix of Tory and Labour governments, and the 80s was entirely Conservative. So I don't think the environmental safeguards are necessarily going to be dropped, considering that most of it's already in place now. As for the workplace protections, I can see that definitely being under threat, because that's what they do. It's what they've always done. Anyway, a Labour government will never consider these rights a burden or accept the weakening of workers' rights, consumer rights and environmental protections. Well, that's what you're supposed to be. You're the party of the workers, right? We will introduce legislation to ensure there are no gaps in national security and criminal justice arrangements as a result of Brexit. Well, good luck. I don't trust you on that, but we'll see. Labour recognise the vital role that cross-border agencies have played in making Britain safe, and that European arrest warrants have been invaluable. A Labour government will seek to retain membership of the agencies and continue the European arrest warrant arrangements, which I think, to some extent, I think the Conservatives will keep as well, I think. Because I think, especially in the times we live in, and with the terrorism that's happening, I think it's better to work together on that issue because it affects everybody, whether you're in the EU or out of the EU. All of this could happen to anybody right now, so I agree with that. I think there needs to be some kind of treaty about arrest warrants. I mean, we have one with the US, I think, and some Commonwealth nations, so why not? Makes sense. Labour will seek a Brexit deal that delivers for the regions and nations of the UK. We will introduce a presumption of devolution, where powers transferred from the EU will go straight to the relevant region or nation. You see, when you mean region, they mean England. When you mean nation, they mean Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. They don't mean England. Because for some reason, we've got regional devolution in England, while they've got full-on devolution in... it's not full-on in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. They've got their own governments. We don't. Which is really annoying. But let's see what they say about that in the future. So they're going to devolve powers that the EU had to us, which is fair enough. That would happen anyway, right? For many people and for much of our country, power can feel just as remote and unaccountable in Brussels as it does in Westminster. So Labour government will seek to put powers as close to you as possible. By devolution, yeah. Immigration's coming up. Here we go. Labour will guarantee to cover any shortfall in EU structural funding that occurs as well as Brexit, so paying more for the taxpayer. This will guarantee throughout the course of the next Parliament. This will also apply to the funding of peace and reconciliation projects in Northern Ireland. Not bad. I guess it's alright. Just a lot of money. They want to spend a lot of money. We will also improve engagement and dialogue with the devolved administrations and seek to ensure the final Brexit deal addresses specific concerns. In particular, Labour will ensure there is no return to a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and that there is no change in the status and sovereignty of Gibraltar. Well, the thing is, Northern Ireland is part of the UK, so there should be some kind of border. I mean, admittedly, because of how close we are with empire and stuff, I guess it should be kind of lax in comparison to, say, other countries. I guess, like in the Commonwealth thing. But, I don't know. Security-wise, it doesn't make much sense to me, but... And as for Gibraltar, yeah, exactly. If they want to remain British, they should remain British. And that's going to remain, in my opinion. They're going to want to remain British, I reckon. They don't like the Spanish. Let's have a look. Where Theresa May wants to shut down scrutiny and challenge, Labour will welcome it. That's coming from the Labour Party, right? I don't agree with that at all. I'm not taking that with a grain of salt. We'll work with Parliament, not against it, right? On an issue of this importance, the government can hide from the public or Parliament. You see, neither of you want to work with each other, so I can't take anything seriously there. A Labour approach to Brexit also means legislating to guarantee that Parliament has a truly meaningful vote on the final Brexit deal. Whatever. Yeah, have a vote. That's what we do. God, no shit. No, they don't want to be with us for reasons, Ardith. I don't want to unite with them. Why should I unite with them? They might also be a burden on our bloody economy as well, like how East Germany was with West Germany. It would be no point. There'd be no point. It's bad enough that England has to pay for most of Scotland and Northern Ireland and Wales anyway. Now more? No way. Let's have a look. Immigration people. Are you ready? Ooh. Labour will not make false promises on immigration numbers. Huh. Our economy needs migrant workers to keep going. Well, that is true and will probably be true forever. It's always been the case. But wouldn't it be better if we made us less reliable on it so as to please everybody? I don't know. Like, I mean, as Lindy Page says, it is the great non-debate, but I just think if we were less reliant on it, it wouldn't be that much of an issue, would it? You know what I mean? It would solve all our issues, but again, neither of these parties want to solve that issue. They want this issue so they can get into power, and that's what's annoying me. See you later, table. The Conservative government has scapegoated immigrants to divert from their own failings and made a bogus promise on immigration. Maybe. But you're going to have to provide us some citations, Jezza. Because you people are in the complete opposite direction and say they can do no wrong. Which, by the way, nobody is infallible. But whatever, let's continue. When politicians fan the flames of fear, it has real consequences on both recently arrived and long-settled communities. You see, you fan the flames when it comes to, like, bloody right-wingers, white, straight males, and, you know, the inequality of the sexes and the races and all that. So you can talk about that. You're all just as bad as each other. You just have different things to pick on. We see this in the appalling rise in hate crimes, which shame us all. Again, what rise? Again, much like with the Trump shit, it was kind of, you know, neither here nor there. But some of it was fake, some of it was real. I don't think there was a rise, and if there was a rise, how many of it actually was full-on proven to be so? I'm so... Every time I hear about this, I think fake news, but, Labour understands the historic contribution of immigrants and children. Yeah, I know. Yeah, thank you for understanding my contribution, but I don't care. Stop pandering. Okay? I mean, the Conservatives will be saying the same thing, actually, funnily enough, but in a different way. But it's like, I don't want to be patronised. I don't care about that. I don't think they care particularly either. They just want to get on with their lives. They want to make sure that the country's fully functional and they can just pay the taxes and have a good life. That's what they want. At least most of them, you know what I mean? The ones who are well-meaning, but whatever, like me, you know? Actually, I'm not the son of an immigrant. I'm a grandson of one, but whatever, you know what I mean? Today, the National Health Service, our social care providers and private companies across Maine. Yep, they do. They do, and the NHS would probably collapse without them, and they do a fine, good job, I must say. Like, I've never had a bad thing about to say with any doctor that I've ever had to help with me. They've always been nice and kind and good with family members, you know. It is true. But again, if we were less reliant on it, it wouldn't be an issue. But I don't know. We value these workers. I value them too. We also understand the importance of more skill training for British nationals. Yeah, good, very nice. Labour believes in fair rules. Fair enough. Reasonable management. We believe fair rules mean that distinction should be made between family connections and migrant labour. We do not believe family life should be protected only for the wealthy. So we propose to replace income thresholds for family attachments with an obligation to survive without recourse to public funds. Labour will replace a financial threshold test for family reunion. Replace it with what exactly? We will work with employers who need to recruit from abroad, but we'll crack down on any employer that exploits the system, because that does happen. You'll never... I was born here. He's probably dead. Fight me. Oh yeah. I mean, it depends which private healthcare you go to. Like the charities, like the hospices are really good, but actual private healthcare, yeah. I mean, the Spire Hospital's pretty good. They treated my nan with her knee very well. But let's continue. Work with employers who need to recruit from abroad. Where were we at? Increase prosecutions and penalties for employees not paying the minimum wage. Good. Stop employers from recruiting only from overseas and make zero contract. That's good. That's good. I don't mind that, but I don't know if this is just to get elected or if they truly believe this, because that is actually against equality, the Workplace Equality Act, one of the acts. Yeah, if you're only recruiting from overseas, that should be against the law, because it's discrimination, right? I don't know. I guess that's what they mean. Okay. Labour will engage with employers and trade unions in the construction and agricultural sectors, especially where many of these illegal practices persist. Yeah, a lot of the, I think, less so like, you know, the more developed nations like Italy, Spain, France, Belgium, Germany, all those other ones, they would go into like more higher paid jobs. In the agricultural place, especially in construction, you tend to get the ones from Eastern Europe, and they get exploited quite a lot because they just seem to be okay with working for less than somebody else because it's a job and they can work their way up, and it's ridiculous. We shouldn't be having to exploit people like that. Kind of pisses me off. But let's continue. We will support trade union rights and freedoms, the most effective way to stop exploitation in the workplace. Don't give them too much power, then when they have a general strike, we can't get the bloody country working, but whatever. A Labour government will never scapegoat refugees and asylum seekers. Yeah, but you've got to at least understand the negatives and the positives, right? You can't just say that they can't do any wrong. And, I mean, yeah, don't scapegoat them. That's fine. That goes without saying. But please be aware that with positives comes negatives of both employing only British or only people from abroad. There's benefits and cons with everything, but at least be aware of that. At least. I don't know. I feel if we were just more open about the benefits and the cons, it would be fine. I don't know. I feel like this is so pandery, and this isn't going to work. We will uphold all our responsibilities under the Refugee Convention. Yeah, but also don't forget to vet them. Okay, some people can pretend to be, as we've seen, but whatever. The current arrangements of housing and dispersing refugees are not fit for purpose. That is true. There's been stories of like people who've come over. They live in what is essentially shanty towns or slums. It's ridiculous. They don't even live in proper houses. It's not everywhere, but I've seen this on the news. A Labour government will also welcome international students who benefit and strengthen our education sector. We already do. They now generate more than 25 billion for the economy. I don't know about that, but I guess they would provide regional jobs and local businesses. Yeah. Oh God, we're still not finished, and I need a wee. How long have we been going? I might just stop and continue in the next one. Okay, we've been going for an hour. I don't know how long I can continue. I think we'll stop it there because I'm not interested in international trade at all, and I need to go for a wee. So we're going to end it there. Hope you've all had fun. This is a very long, drawn out thing I wasn't expecting. So we've got all this to do. So have fun, people. I'll see you all later. Sunday, I think we'll either continue with it or not. I don't know. But because it's so long, I might try and find a detailed kind of summary of it. But again, it's the media, so don't bother with that. So I'll see you guys later.